Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Are you an inspiring entrepreneur? Or maybe you're an entrepreneur looking to take your business to the next level. My name is Larry W. Brooks, and I am the author of Empowering Quotes for the Entrepreneur in You and The Entrepreneur Code. In these two books, I guarantee you there's success secrets that will take your business to the next level. I personally invite you to visit LarryWBrooks.com. Go under the books link and purchase your signed personal copy from myself. You have a great day and have an awesome 2020. Pure Hustle is not only a clothing brand, but it is a movement. I personally invite you to visit shoppurehustle.com. How do you survive?
Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I urge you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, stop by our website at brooksanddavis.com. It's really a pleasure to be here with you this week. We have a really exciting episode planned for you all. My co-host, as always, is a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, Texas real estate broker, known the world over as the Texas Real Estate King. Not only is he a business partner, but also a friend and a brother. I would like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience the illustrious and revered, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. What's shaking, buddy?
LB. What up, frat man? I am great, man.
Hey, man, I need you to keep a straight face during your introductions,
I
man.
can't help it, man. You be dropping gems on me, like,
Hey, bro.
you know what I'm saying? You make me feel special.
For the audience, I do not tell Larry beforehand how I'm going to introduce him every week. So if he's acting as if he's surprised, that's genuine.
He gets me every time, man. What can I say? Man, things been good. I can't complain at all, Rick, man. Like you said, you appreciated all the people that came out to the event the other day, last Thursday. It was amazing. I know some people are still quarantining and social distancing, but look, we had a building full of people that came out to show love, and I want y'all to know it's always appreciated. It's always appreciated you taking your time, your energy, and just coming out to fellowship, network. And like I always say, when you come out and you network with me, my ideal is to build some type of business relationship with you to help you grow your business. And if we didn't do that day, then I work consistently at that until I'm able to help you financially hit your goals when it comes to certain things. So thank you for coming out and just, celebrating, taking photos. Man, I love taking photos with my friends and stuff, man.
No, man, it was a great event.
Yeah.
I think I felt guilty at how much fun we were having, man. I always invite people out to our events, especially at the new training center, man. But I think a lot of our audience don't really understand that we have a lot more fun in real life than they think we're having online.
Yeah.
So once again, man, please follow Mr. Brooks on Instagram, Facebook. Follow myself, man. Stay up to date of what we have going on at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, because all of the networking events and events that we plan for you all is to serve the community to the best of our ability. So you're always invited. Please take advantage.
That's good stuff. Right, I missed it.
Hey, man, come on.
Pictures, I'm like, I should have been there.
And see, and look, I love how our guest this week gives you a early mysterious preview of who we have in the building, man. It's always an honor and a pleasure to have this guest sit in with us. He was one of our earlier guests on the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, and we've received such favorable feedback that we've always wanted to reach out and have him sit back in with us, because there's no one else in the mortgage space that we feel is equipped to provide as much worthwhile information to our clients and to our audience as this gentleman. He is not only the branch manager at NRL Mortgage, but this honorable brother is a most esteemed member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, man. My friend and yours, the mortgage guy with the bow tie, Mr. Mike Lewis. What's going on, brother?
Mike.
What's happening? What's happening? It's good to be here. Good to be here.
Hey, man,
LB, Rick.
Hey,
what's
man, this
happening,
is a surreal moment for a lot of our audience because the mortgage guy with the bow tie speaks for himself. I think your reputation precedes you. I want to give you kudos publicly for the marketing, the promotional efforts you do to push your brand and your mortgage business because you have positioned yourself in a way where you are not only a unique service provider, but you're also an individual. Right. And a lot of times, especially when you're in a business space, it seems like there's a lot of reproductions of a reproduction.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's something that has served you quite well in your career is that you've been able to brand yourself, man, and be that individual.
Right.
So I want to thank you for sitting in with us, man. What's been going on, man?
Oh, not much. I'm just trying to make it through this market and everything that's going on politically and socially, market conditions, everything, and it's all about adaptation here. You know, I've been in it for 15 years, so adapting to the market ain't that hard anymore.
I know, man.
It's key.
You definitely been heavy in the game, man. And I want to tell our audience, today's episode is entitled Leadership in Crisis. And I want to pose this first question to both of you gentlemen. You've been in the mortgage space for 15 years. Mr. Brooks been in the real estate space for more than 20 now?
Close to it, baby.
Close to 20.
No.
So I want to ask both of you gentlemen, considering the social and political climate that we are experiencing currently, do you gentlemen feel any extra responsibility as entrepreneurial and business leaders to go out in the community and get involved? And if so, what type of responsibility do you feel? And I'll ask you this question first, Mike.
You know, I feel a big responsibility. Being part of this community and to be able to fundamentally make your mark in the community, whether it be, you know, growing up. I grew up in Missouri City. Mm-hmm. I went to Prairie View A&M University, which is one of the greatest schools ever. I went to Prairie View A&M University, went to Willow Ridge High School. I grew up in a community where there was a difference.
Right.
There was an element in the community that as a black male you had to deal with. So the thing is for me to not acknowledge that there is an issue in the community would be irresponsible. Yeah. It's a responsibility that I have in my community to talk to my youth, to the youth. That's why I coach Little League. I coach Little League football. I coach Little League baseball. Mm-hmm. I help autism awareness. I do a lot in the community that a lot of people don't see because I learned a long time ago that in our community you have different types of people that grow up. Right. You have people who get it right off the top. Yeah. I need to make something of myself. Yeah. You know, I got it. You know, my parents have built it in me. I got it. I can make it. You have people who need a little assistance because they don't have that same support that you have at home. And then you have people who they just go by the wayside, but they can still be helped. And in that situation, you have to be able to get in there and gravitate to every group of people and assist them because it is a responsibility.
I want to ask you, Mike, about your work with the youth as far as youth sports and coaching the youth. In your experience, what have you found is one of the things that the kids that you work with are most lacking as far as, is it self-esteem building? Is it helping as far as choices and decision making? Because you're working at a grassroots level where you're seeing these kids before the world truly jades them and makes them cynical as far as their potential and how far they can go. What do you see in these young kids that you help to provide as their coach?
To me, the number one thing in Little League, and this is just my opinion, the number one thing in Little League that you learn is that you learn to teach as a coach is to motivate.
Motivation.
and
Yeah.
encourage. And these kids, just that one time that they're doing something and you say, you know what, man, you did a great job. You know, to them, that's huge.
Big, no doubt about it.
That's huge for somebody to motivate you and to help you grow from a grassroots level, and to grow up and get better.
Right.
You know, and to me, that is the number one thing. Of course, they learn a lot about football and baseball, the whole sportsmanship thing, but that number one thing is for a coach to motivate and encourage and build that confidence in people.
I agree.
And you know, I want to make sure I ask you this too, Larry, because I know a foundation of your professional brand has been outreach in the community. I know you've done a lot of work in elementary schools, junior highs, as far as speaking engagements and appearances. What have you, as someone who's already made that a part of your platform, what extra motivation, what extra need have you felt in the last month to do more? Or have you felt like I'm doing as much as I can and you're expressing some frustration in just what's happening? How has this landed on you?
You know, I've identified this since I was a young kid. I grew up in South Park here in Houston, Texas, off of MLK Boulevard. So I've seen what we've seen go on TV. I've seen before. It's happened to me before. So, but what I've learned is, you know, coming from a minority, a poor background, having an opportunity to go to Stephen F. Austin, which is a historically white university, I had the chance to see two worlds, right? So I saw the world that I grew up in, and I saw the world that others grew up in. And so what I learned from that is just the ability to adapt and know what my people are missing when it comes to our community, when it comes to me being able to communicate with them on how we persevere, how we get around that curve in order to get to our successes and things of that matter. So the community involvement has always been a big piece because I noticed that's what's missing. You know, I'll give people an example all the time. I have a son. He's 14 years old at this point. But when my son was younger, I would go and I would teach and mentor at a school called Cullen Middle School. It's in Third Ward, right? Okay. Their PTO would probably raise about $500 a year. Well, my son went to a school called Mark Twain in Bel Air. Their PTO brought in $390,000 a year. And here's what that impact means, right? A, you got a lot more parent participation. B, they're able to finance visions and dreams for the teachers, the educational process, making sure the kids got everything that they need, the teachers got everything they need. Whereas in our minority community, poor communities, struggling communities, because you don't have parent involvement, which is understandable because, you know, systematically, the things that we've been watching take place have taken the black man out of the house anyway, putting him in jail, taking his life, has taken him out of the house. And so now you have one income, which is a mom now has worked 3-4 times, two or three jobs. So she's not able to sit in there and do education with her kids, right? She's not able to come to the school, participate in things like that. So those are just some of the gaps that, you know, when we step up and we become a part of it, or we mobilize our community and say, hey, let's get in and tutor these kids. Yes, some of them may be going through certain problems. They may have issues with listening, but let's tell them who I was that kid. Like somebody like me helped me understand that I could be somebody one day, right? So,
no, the thing about it, Larry, and I'm sure Mike can attest to this as well, is that a lot of the issues that the American public are asking to be remedied now are something that have been going on for generations.
Come on.
And one of the things that I think is a positive byproduct of what we're going through is that I think more adults, more parents are talking to their children, male and female, about how to maneuver and how to just move in the streets.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know when we were coming up, there was no how to move around. I know you from Third Ward, you were from Missouri City. I know where I'm from on the north side.
South Park home, boy. Hold on.
Oh, excuse me.
Excuse me. South Park.
But I know on the north side, especially in Acres Home, when me and my friends would go out, there was no tutorial on how to move around.
Yeah.
how, especially once you're young and get a driver's license. Like I've been driving my own car since I was 15.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You didn't have the tutorial because
There is no tutorial on how to move
Right.
in Houston, and it's all trial and error. And a lot of the successes that I've been able to achieve as an adult, I never underestimate how important it was to have a grandparents, family praying for me, because
Oh man.
there are some potholes and some speed traps you can run into during your adolescence that if you're not prepared for them can cost you everything.
Everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with your academic capabilities, how focused you are, how motivated you are. It's just that you don't know because you're too inexperienced to know.
That's right.
So, Mr. Brooks, and I want to ask you this too, Mike. What are some of the things that you've seen in the last couple of weeks that have inspired you, that you've seen as positive change? Because I will say, I have been impressed with how open parents have been with their children now.
Yeah.
I remember a time where parents couldn't be as frank
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know,
about what was going on.
Right.
They had to sugarcoat things a bit more. What do you gentlemen think?
and my thought is this: I don't think that our culture. I don't think that our culture has ever had a problem with, you know, trying to explain the process. It's just been difficult if you've never seen it if you've never seen it before, explaining the system to someone, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so one of the things that I've seen that I've appreciated through this process is bigger brands, bigger names that don't look like us coming out, donating money, saying that they're getting it. We don't know yet. We're gonna find out eventually when this happens again if they really get it, but that they're able to identify, and you feel like there's a lot more movement involved with this situation because we've seen it over time and time and time. We've had movies made about this, right? I was telling someone the other day, I was listening to Spike Lee. He said when that gentleman was choked out in the movie Do the Right Thing, that came from something that happened in 1983 in New
Right.
York. So he put it on film, but we've seen it reoccur over and over again. So I think the biggest thing that I've seen, not only us continue to support each other, but seeing other people finally stand and say, okay, now I get what they're talking about.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And
Yeah.
when people stand like that, when you see 60,000 plus in Houston standing up for a cause, you automatically get a feeling with other people that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
okay to stand out.
Exactly.
You know, because a lot of times, a lot of people just don't want to be the one.
Exactly.
I don't want to be the one to be the first to say it.
Yeah.
I feel you,
Right.
but I don't want to say it. And the thing is that it goes back to the responsibility. It's
Absolutely.
a responsibility to say it. I always talk about a community and resources in the community.
Yeah.
We grew up in communities, South Park, Missouri City, or whichever, where there were resources that were there.
Yeah.
There were resources. We had family and friends and teachers and people in our community. Our communities were a little bit tighter back then.
Right.
So we had those resources in the community that we utilized. We utilized our schools. I utilized Missouri City. I utilized Prairie View. My thing is that at some point, we have to go back
Right.
and replenish the resources in the community.
Yes, indeed.
And that comes with, little leagues, and that comes with supporting businesses in the community.
Yeah.
That comes with a lot of those different things that at some point we're going to have to acknowledge and have to go back and do. Of course, we move out to the suburbs. We want better schools
Better
for our
education.
kids,
Yeah.
better. We want all these things, but we still have to go back to those communities and replenish those communities because it's a lot lacking right now.
That's a fact.
And when I say lacking, it has to do with most of when I run credit and I review credit in applications, a lot of people say, is there discrimination in the finance world? It's not so much as the word discrimination, it's education.
All right.
We lack education when it comes to finance. We lack education when it comes to credit. We lack education when it comes to money, period.
Yeah.
And how to utilize it, how to go about purchasing a house. What do you look for? How to not be taken advantage of when you go buy a car. how to not be taken advantage of when you go buy a house, how to know that you have a good credit score. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, if you have a great credit score, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be treated like that other person. That's the reality. But what happens is if you don't, I need the resources. I need a LB. I need a Rick. I need a Mike who's going to help me to get where I need to be. And utilizing those resources in our community so we can be that person that has options.
I know, because one of the things I want to make sure we get to, because this episode I feel like is not just therapeutic for myself and each of us to be able to get our thoughts and feelings out publicly, but I think we're doing some great things for the audience. But I do want to have some time for you to talk about some nitty-gritty mortgage qualifications. Because on the news, they've talked about how a lot of qualification standards have been changing from different lenders. So I want to make sure we have some time to talk about that, because I'm sure there's members of the audience that would like to hear how you felt about how those things have changed. So we're going to pause for 1 second to hear a message from our sponsors. But I want to thank everyone for watching the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, and we'll be right back.
This is Rick Davis, realtor and host of the Prime Real Estate Network. Are you currently leasing or looking to relocate to the Houston area and you find yourself falling in love with a home but aren't quite in a position to purchase? Well, no worries. We offer the Right to Purchase program. We can place you in the home of your dreams at current market rental rates and give you up to 3 years to buy. Did you know that a majority of the homes that are for sale offer better quality than those that are for rent? So why wait? Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Let me and my team help you purchase a home that you and your family can fall in love with. Give me a call today at 832-928-3963. And remember to follow the Prime Real Estate Network podcast on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Be blessed.
Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate, you can visit us at brooksanddavis.com. And for the latest and greatest in men's and women's hats and fedoras, visit our sponsor at shopelitestyle.com. As always, the Texas real estate king, Larry W. Brooks, riding shotgun.
In the building.
Hey, dropping gems as only he can.
Come on,
and our special,
talking about what the world needs to know right now.
Man, that realness, man. And our special guest this week, branch manager for NRL Mortgage, but most importantly, a new and an esteemed member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Mr. Mike Lewis. What's going on, Fi?
I'm good. What's happening?
Hey, look, man, I want to thank you so much for your transparency and your candor. I don't know if a lot of your followers online have had an opportunity to hear you speak on such a varying array of subject matter. Mm-hmm. But I want to thank you for sharing that with our audience, because I think this is a piece of yourself that people don't always have an opportunity to enjoy. So I thank you so much for that. But I want to make sure I ask you before we end this week's episode about the media's portrayal of qualification standards for a home mortgage is changing. Can you speak to our audience about and separate fact from opinion?
Right. So the mortgage market is changed a lot. Finance market, everything has changed a lot to kind of accommodate to what's actually going on in the market. There are a lot of changes, and these changes we hope to be temporary. But some of these changes may be long lasting. Most of these changes come from what we call liquidity in the market. You have a lot of investors. Most of your loans, whether it be the secondary market, whether it be Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, most of these FHA, most of these loans include investors. And these investors are pretty much looking for liquidity in the market, and less risky liquidity. And when they look for less risky means higher credit scores, lower debt to income ratio, higher down payments. To them, that's a market that they'll still continue in that they don't have a lot of risk in being part of.
Right.
And that's what's kind of happening now is that the credit score requirements, all those things are part of this market where these investors are looking for less risky investments. You had Chase to come out and say, hey, if you're going to do purchase or refinance with us, you need a 720 credit score, you need 20% down. And we have to take in consideration, you have these huge banks who not only have to deal with the market of mortgage and finance, but they also have to deal with credit cards. Chase is one of the biggest credit card holders. They're also one of the biggest as far as retail financing. So they're looking at a bigger picture that they have to actually deal with, and that big picture has affected how they go about doing business when it comes to mortgages. Because of course, the number one thing that goes away when you have so many people losing their jobs and so many people in a struggle right now, they're not paying those credit cards.
Right.
They're not shopping at retail. They're not paying the retail credit cards. So what happens is that these bigger banks are taking a risk,
Right.
and they're taking a loss. So it comes to what is the minimum credit score right now? So the minimum credit score right now for us is a 620. And that's actually really good in comparison to a lot of lenders out there. That 620 score still gives you, believe it or not, a really good interest rate in comparison. So we're at a 620. Of course, higher credit scores, you get a lower interest rates. Those interest rates are in their low threes now. People are refinancing, people are purchasing, and they're like, so what is the debt to income ratio? So again, less risky.
Right.
So when you look at debt to income ratios, you're looking at mostly around 50%. Debt to income ratio, which is still pretty good.
Right.
Of course, the guidelines with FHA didn't change as far as the down payment, so it's still 3.5% down.
Wow.
Fannie Mae still has a 3% down. So those things are still there. So you have to take advantage of, the highs and the lows. The highs are you get a very low interest rate.
Right.
And you're in a market where a lot of the homes are selling a little bit less than what they were a couple months ago.
Take advantage of a little value in the market.
You're taking advantage of those markets. Now, just think about it. If you have a 620 credit score, you're getting a lower interest rate than you typically would. You buy a house at a lower loan amount than you typically would. When the market transitions back, you're going to be on top.
Equity.
You're going to have equity out of this world once this market flips around. And that comes to, what we were talking about earlier on the responsibility to be able. My biggest thing when I started in this market and when I started in finance is to educate people.
Right.
You have to be able to educate people to the point where you can go tell the next person the exact same thing.
Absolutely.
Now
they sound like an expert.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now you sound like that mortgage guy with the bow tie.
Absolutely.
And you know what? It's a great thing when you get out there and you talk to people who that you help finance,
right.
And they refer people and they're like, man, yeah, they told me that you was the guy. And so how about, what's the APRs? What's the this? What's the that? And it's like, how do you know that? Oh, they told me about it. They said that you told them.
Absolutely.
So that's a big part that I always state as being, you got to be an educator. Not only are you just doing business with people, you have to be able to educate them on what they're getting, how they're getting. I hate when I get a refinance and this person is saying, Mike, I need to refinance because I got a shortage in my escrow. What does that mean? How did that happen? And sometimes, not saying anything against any builder, but sometimes they do go to builders and it's not a primary focus to talk about that shortage that could happen. once you buy a new home.
Now, it's something because I wish we could have had you on here a couple of weeks ago because you had a really, really successful virtual home buyer seminar not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure all of our members of the audience never misses
Never
another
miss.
one of your virtual
It's
seminars. So
educational.
let's
I'm
share.
long-winded too.
Let's share some emails, IG tags, so everybody know how to follow you and keep up. Mike, please.
Okay, so his emails is mike.lewis@nrlmortgage.com. You can also reach me, of course, on Facebook, Mike's Premier Loans, and on IG, That Mortgage Guy on IG. So I'm on there. I do live videos all the time just to educate as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said I like talking and listening to myself. She may be right.
No, man, I'll tell you, man, I thank you so much, man, for making some time, man, because not only are you very knowledgeable, man, but the way you present the information, man, is not only informative but also entertaining, man. So I'm sure the audience loves you, man. I just want everybody to know the bond is real.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for holding it down with us as always, brother.
Shout out to all my noobs out there.
Hey, man, good. Thank you. Very do that. I do it too much, man. They think I'm in the
think
bag
you
for the
biased
noobs.
or something?
Oh yeah, man.
Oh,
They
yeah,
think
no,
I'm in the
no,
bag
no.
for the noobs if I do it too much.
Hey, I have all love for all my paying folks out there. So
You know what it is
Yeah.
already. Mr. Brooks, man.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the audience, man, before we sign off, bro.
Everybody have a good weekend.
And a few words, man. Check out Mr. Larry W.
Oh,
Brooks
you know what?
on
Real
Instagram.
quick.
Facebook.
Shout out
Thank
to
you.
everybody that participated in the rally, the march on
yeah,
Wednesday. It was
definitely.
amazing.
Yes,
Great
yes.
Tuesday. Amazing, great turnout. Everybody was positive.
60,000 strong, baby.
H-Time, Texas, represented. Every time I'm traveling, every time I'm somewhere, I always tell people we a different breed. The Third Coast is a different breed.
Absolutely.
So I'm proud to say I'm from the H, and we did our thing, and we did it in a respectful manner to our city and for the family. So George Floyd.
Hey, man, on behalf of myself, the Texas Real Estate King, Larry Brooks, and the mortgage guy with the bow tie, Mr. Mike Lewis, I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. If you need anything, we're only a call, text, or DM away. It was an honor and a pleasure, as always, to be here with you. I want everyone to stay blessed, and we'll see you all next Thursday.
Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC is marketing a property for sale right now that you can buy. These properties range from land lots for under $20,000 to move-in ready homes $500,000 and more, along with everything in between. To see this week's list of properties for sale you can buy now, go to bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. That's bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. If you plan on selling some real estate and you need it on the weekly list, call 713-665-8329 to speak with someone about it.